Hello and welcome to another edition of Alternative Interactions. I'm Gary. So today we're going to look at another series or part 2 of the Matrix Mindfulness, because there's lots of subsections to all that, as you can imagine. And today I want to look at giving your power away, externalisation of your power. So what do I mean by externalisation of our power? If you have the concept that we live in a holographic realm that we can manipulate and control via generating, being a manifesting generator, an example of this would be perhaps we're going to go shopping and you want a car parking space and you want a prime car parking space, not any old one. And you go, I hope, there's going to be a car parking space, and then you say there will be. I will get the car parking space I want. And you pull into the supermarket car park, and there in pole position is the exact space that you would have quite happily chosen had you had a choice. And then you go. And so in that instance, we have changed or created a manifestation, however small, of creating something that we wanted. And so our mindfulness has changed the reality. Now, I don't believe that can happen in an organic, natural, real reality. I think it's part of the co-creator symbiotic nature of this realm that we are in. And we will look at that kind of thing again in more detail, because I think it's quite fascinating as well to look at. So by giving our power away, it's a bit like the predator and prey situation, where you're either the predator or the prey. And if you're the prey, you're the victim. And if you're the predator, you're not really a predator as such. But if you're the predator, then you're the maker of, you're the doer. You're the creator of, and you're not putting yourself in the hands of somebody else's manifestation, fundamentally. So throughout our life, from when we're born, we receive teachings or indoctrination, and we're indoctrinated into this realm. So our parents, from beginning of our birth, teach us limitations on what we can or cannot do. And it's not their fault. They had exactly the same done to them. And so they are only teaching the limitations that they had put on them and their parents before. So this is a long-held generational situation of control, fundamentally, of us. And so we're taught very early on that somebody else will fix it, generally our parents. So when we're young, if there's a problem, our parents will come along and they will fix the situation for us, and off we go. And subconsciously, what that means is that we give our power away to somebody else, our parents, and they then become the facilitator of the saving of what we needed. So we are the prey and they are the predator, and the predator is a strong one, and they then move on and save us, as simply as I can put it. Now what we get is schooling after that, and we go into the Rockefeller controlled school system that is designed to knock any kind of spark, individuality and critical thinking out of us. And at the end of the 8, 10, 15 years of education, whatever it is that you do, we then produce somebody who is compliant to what the government or the society controllers want. But more importantly than that, we have given our power away and expect somebody else to fix our problems. And so we have become the prey. We have become victims of the society, expecting somebody or some kind of organisation or some kind of person to come out and fix us or help us. And we see this in all aspects of society. So, for instance, if you have a problem, and say you've eaten something that's poisoned you, you go to the doctor and say, "Doctor, I'm feeling really unwell," and the doctor says, "Oh, you've been poisoned." And the expectation from that doctor is that he's going to give you a pill or a potion to save you. And so the doctor then says, "Oh yes, if you take this pill, you'll be better in a couple of days." And you say, "Thank you very much, doctor," and off you go. But in reality, you never needed to see the doctor. You just had to stop eating the thing that poisoned you in the first place and take that control back. But you didn't. You externalized your own power and gave that to somebody else to then come up with a solution to fix the problem. And fundamentally, this is exactly what this externalisation of our power is. And it's been taken to such a degree now that the government, and government means to govern the mind, it's not there to help, it's to control the mind and place us into the correct box as such. The government has now become the saviour for many people, when in actual fact the government has created the issue in the first place and it's just a manipulation. And people can't see that manipulation, and so willingly, without thought or understanding, give their power away to the government to then be controlled, and then will sit there and complain and moan when something goes wrong that they don't agree with. But they will sit there and moan about it, but they will not be proactive and do something that would affect the change that they wanted. And so in effect, again, they have become the victim of giving their power away to an external force. Now, this goes a lot deeper in many ways, because we then start to see and analyse our actions within our relationships and every aspect of our lives where we have been programmed in this way. And it's a very, very difficult thing to stand back and observe yourself acting and reacting the way you are, and trying to analyse why you've done so and then change that action or reaction. But this is exactly what you need to do to break free from the matrix. Because as once you start to see the game and see how it works and understand what the controllers want you to do and be, if you can become the opposite, and I'm not talking about anarchy or anything like that, I'm just talking about understanding within yourself. Now, one of the biggest secrets we have that's been held from us forever is that we are the true power. We are sovereign, immortal, divine beings of love and light, and we came here for experiences and to learn and grow spiritually, so that when we come out of this realm, we have grown and developed to a stage where we're ready for the next parts of our growth journey adventure. And it simply is, as far as I can see, just like that. It's not a prison planet. We're told it's a prison planet, but that's an externalisation again. Somebody from outside of us has told you or us that we're inside a prison planet. But the only prison we have is our own mental constraints, the only thing that we put upon ourselves. And all these people are doing is putting spells on us fundamentally, because words are spells, on what we can and can't do. And again, that's an externalisation. If you go within yourself and ask the question, am I in a prison planet? You'll probably get no answer whatsoever. And the reason why you don't get any answer at all is because the field or the realm that we're currently experiencing is actually negative, as in neutral, not negative, neutral. It's neither negative or positive, it just is. And so when you understand that it just is, and has all possibilities are open to us, and all eventualities are open to us, it's only when you can expand your own mind and accept that you can then move forward into the expansiveness of the opportunities we have within this realm. So a very, very good example of externalization of our power would be religion. I'm no intention of bashing religion, because there's certain aspects I think are very good, but there certainly are other aspects that really are not. And certainly over the last probably couple of thousand years or so, religion has been used often as the whipping stick and the control mechanism of the externalization. So we're told that we're born into sin, but I've never seen a baby sin. And what really is sin anyway? It's just a word. It's a control mechanism word of an external force creating a mechanism within your mind to restrict you. And then religion says you must pray to and worship a all-seeing God, or whatever it is, whether it be Muhammad, Christ, whatever. It doesn't matter. But straight away you are externalizing your own power and putting your faith and energy into something that is external to you, and you are giving that thing energy, and you are feeding that energy, and you are neglecting the one true God, the one true being that is the one, and that's yourself. Many, many years ago, David Icke did an interview on British TV with a guy called Terry Wogan, I think it was, and David Icke had just kind of woken up at that point and was very, very excited and naive perhaps, and the BBC, being the BBC, clearly couldn't have ex-presenter going around talking fundamental truths about what his epiphany. And so they destroyed him on British TV. But one thing he did say, and he was very, very clear about this, is that we are all gods. But the explanation at the time and the way that the people heard it was like, ho 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 ho, he thinks he's a god. That's not what he said. We are all gods. We are all divine beings. We are all fractals of Source, and Source is a fractal of the Creator of this realm, who takes on and understands and observes our experiences as we grow. But of course he wasn't able to explain it in those terms, and the language probably wasn't even really there at that point because it was so far away. But he was ridiculed for his quite correct ideas. It was the externalization of giving your power to a false god, almost a false entity, a made up man-made entity potentially. And I'm not saying it is or isn't, this is just an example to try and explain, that stops you looking at your own self, your own true power and who you truly really are. Because once you really understand who you are, and it's often referred to as the dark night of the soul, but once you really truly understand who you are, warts and all, and learn to love yourself and forgive yourself, you can then start working on regaining your power and taking back the externalisation of the mind control and guidance you've always had all your life back to you. And this is key to the awakening and your true connection to your higher self, source, the creator, or whatever words you wish to use for that. Even if you want to use God, it makes no difference. So we have the power within us to achieve absolutely anything, and we also have all the answers within us. So for instance, like myself, I like my food far too much, and I get to a stage where I start putting on a bit too much weight and the clothes start getting a bit tight, and I think, right, I've got to start a bit of a diet or stop eating so many bits of chocolate and crisps and junk food, which is really not what we should be having. And I then go on that diet, for want of a word, and I lose some weight. Now, it's only when I decide that I want to do this that it will be done. If somebody tells me, oh, you're getting fat, Gary, yeah, okay, you need to lose weight, great, but they can't stop me from eating. They can't stop me from doing what I'm doing until I choose to. So we have an externalisation of a force that's clearly saying the right thing, but it's only when you decide and you make that change internally, and that decision has been made by you, that you enable yourself, you give yourself the power, and then you can become and do the thing you want to do, because you have decided. To give your life force and power away to external forces is what feeds the external forces and allows the governments and nefarious organisations that are currently so rife in this world to run roughshod over everybody. And I think part of the great awakening and going into the golden age, or the timeline split, as it were, and I have described this on my Chris Code Fibonacci sequence. If you are more mechanically minded, you can then observe mechanically the split and how it works. You can then start to understand that we actually really do have choice, and we have plenty of power. And one of the most powerful things is the word no, because no is not just a single word. No is also a sentence. And to get to the point when you say to somebody no, without the explanation or explaining why, that's a very, very, very powerful thing. You know, can you for instance, like your boss wants you to do an extra shift and you're knackered and you've made arrangements with somebody to do something else, and you've been looking forward to this all week, and your boss comes up to you and says, can you just do this? And you go, no, not really. I've kind of got something else to do, and I was really hoping to. And your boss, being quite a strong bloke, and the fear, your own fear of, he might not give me any extra shifts next week or the week after, and you get forced into doing this. But in reality, no. Thank you very much for the offer. That's it. You have taken your power back off your boss. What's he going to do? There's no room for him to... You've not opened the door and given him room or leeway to then externalise and take your power from you and force you to do something you didn't want to do. I know it's not probably the best example, but hopefully you understand and getting the point that within us we are divine, sovereign beings with all the power in the world, and externalization of that power through control mechanisms, fear, whatever it is, other people taking our power. To stop that is actually one of the most powerful things you can do, and from that point onwards you can truly become the observer, and the observer has true power, because, as I've said before, observe but do not absorb. So you then start to observe situations and see things for what they truly are, but don't get emotionally involved in that scenario. And it gives you the power to critically analyse and think about what is going on and what you want to do to move forward for your higher self and your betterment, to grow spiritually along this journey. So I hope that has made kind of sense. It's quite a big subject, and that was kind of a brief overview, because there's so many things that link into this, like the manifestation of, and the things that lead on from taking your power back and being sovereign, and the steps, if you want to, that you can make thereafter in the decisions that you have, because you're then freed, your mind is freed from the fear and the confusion of what you're doing. And this is all about what we class as the onion. And all we're doing is trying to peel the layers of programming of the onion, the mind, just peeling them back one layer at a time, over time, to try and really free ourselves so that we can move forward and shine our light. And when we get to the stage where we shine our light, we then attract other like-minded people, and we can then have open and frank and clear discussions without upsetting people, so we can move on and grow ourselves and everybody else spiritually and emotionally. And that's a wonderful journey to take on. So that's it for today. I don't want to keep on rambling, but just remember that your power is yours, and don't give it away willy-nilly, and learn to control your power and understand who you are within that. I hope that made sense. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll catch you again very soon. Bye.